So finally back in stock and vaguely got on offer at the time when I got it. The Enterprise that started it all off, the NCC-1701 with no A, B, C, D or E or F or G or J or any of those. The actual original Enterprise. And I've already got the XL size version of this, but I didn't have the smaller version to add to my collection, the one that comes with the standard magazine, which you can see before you, issue number 50. And here we have the model itself, and it's quite heavy for its size. I mean, that might look teeny tiny, and it is not large, but it is really weighty for its size. So all of this saucer section is die cast. The nacelles aren't; they're a little bit wibbly wobbly, but we'll not play with those overly much. And interestingly, from my point of view, this has the same colour scheme as the XL one, which I initially was sort of surprised at. But of course, this is the TV series version. This isn't the one that appeared in the films, which was much whiter. So this sort of dark, if you can make it out, this is a sort of quite a dark grey, almost sort of olive kind of colour, which obviously they must have gone for as part of the original design. It's difficult for you to make out the colour, isn't it? But it's just not as white as the standard film model was when it arrived. So it's still lovely. I mean, it's a great little model. It's very smooth. I'm going to have to be very careful with this. He says moving his fingers with the navigational deflector dish there, because as you can see, that's pretty teeny tiny, and there is a little tiny spike in the middle of it. I don't know if you'll be able to make that out. You can just against the magazine actually, but obviously you don't want to be messing with that if you can avoid it, because that will wreck your model. So establish the classic design. And I read somewhere recently that apparently the reason that the nacelles are always sort of like this is that in early theory the warp nacelles had to be able to see each other, and that was a sort of design doctrine when it came to designing new Star Trek ships. So I think presumably that got dropped at some point, but that apparently is the reason why you tend to see the Federation ships, most obviously perhaps, with the warp nacelles on pylons and the gap in between them so that they can see each other. So that apparently is the reason behind that. And if you can see the detailing on the side of the nacelles there, I mean, even at this scale, they're getting the windows and everything, and the decals and everything else in really well on it. Always got to be careful these days, of course, when I'm trying to get these things from the site, because there are now countless examples of the Enterprise available, because the other series that it appears in now, of course, is Discovery, and I'm, for reasons of a budgetary constraint on my part, if nothing else. Sorry. Yeah, for reasons of budgetary constraint on my part, if nothing else, I'm trying not to get the Star Trek Discovery class of ships, because if I got those, then I'd be forever buying stuff and be seriously out of pocket and run out of storage space, undoubtedly. So I'm trying to avoid doing that. I'm just trying to see where the stand for this one's gone. Sorry, my pause is owing to the fact that I can't immediately see where my stand is for this one. Now that's very unusual. If that's actually missing, that is the first time that has ever happened to me in my time buying stuff from Eaglemoss. But obviously that will not sit on its base without something to sit it on. So that's, and I believe people have had difficulties trying to get spares from them as well. And it is entirely possible although I thought I would have noticed, but it is possible that I flipped it onto the floor in the course of opening up the box, but I have to say that I didn't notice myself doing that. So in a sort of in a Blue Peter style, I don't appear to have one that I can show you earlier, because I literally opened the box as I was talking to you and showing you the model, and in doing so I don't seem to have the stand for it. Oh. Well, all I can say is I'll have to have a hunt for that later, but right now I'm not overly hopeful that actually came in the box in the first place, which is unfortunate, because as you'll see from a later video, that's the second issue I think I may have today with Eaglemoss, which is unusual. I must admit, it is unusual that I would have cause to complain about the condition that they arrive in, but I'll note in the description of the video whether or not I actually end up coming across it, and I'm afraid that I can't show you how it fits onto its stand. It'll be around there somewhere. Yeah, well, it should be. So yeah, I'll have to leave you there with that one, I'm afraid, because I have no stand to attach it to at the minute until I have a look round, and if I can't find it, then I'll have to have a word with Eaglemoss and try and get hold of a spare if at all possible. So yeah, so that didn't pan out quite as I had anticipated, but you know, just goes to show they're not possibly they're not 100% infallible. And I'll show you another example of that shortly, I'm afraid, so bear with me, and as I say, I'll let you know in the description whether or not I do find that stand. Cheers, bye.